Hello and welcome to the Skating Lesson World's Edition. Once again, I am joined by Jonathan Beyer. Jonathan, welcome back to the Skating Lesson.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like it's been forever.
It has been forever. I haven't seen you in weeks. What has been going on in your life?
You name it. A lot of singing, not very much skating. It's been good. It's been good.
You were in Toronto for a long
That's
time.
right, for endless weddings, but that's a whole nother podcast, web show. Okay.
Well, meanwhile, there has been a lot going on in the skating world. Tonight is Monday night, so as you know, it is time for Dancing with the Stars. Week 3. Have you been watching Meryl on Dancing with the Stars?
You know, I am that guy that literally is watching this season just because of them. Because I'm not so into the show.
Okay.
And if I am tuning in, it's really because I wanted to see Kirstie Alley, and who shared a partner with
Meryl Davis.
Except remember the big scandal then was that he dropped Kirstie
Well, his
Alley.
leg gave out.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm very afraid could happen with Meryl.
And I don't think that's going to be happening with Meryl. So, yeah.
Well, once upon a time, I was very into Dancing with the Stars. However, I have to say that watching it, it has like the last season ever vibe. Like Leonardo DiCaprio has joined the cast of Growing Pains. Will and Grace have had a baby together. Like
That's
it just
right.
has that.
The writing is on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Like Len made the same jokes about Meryl that he's made about Evan.
Yeah, it really is just the same show over and over again. I mean, how many seasons has it been on?
It's been
A
on
lot.
18. You know,
That's a lot of seasons.
it's been on longer than the Jeffersons. You know, it's time.
But I enjoyed the Jeffersons. Yeah, okay.
Where is it?
Now, how do you think they're doing?
You know, it's funny. I find that the same criticisms of their skating carry over to their dancing.
You do? Okay. That's what I
I
was intrigued by.
I mean, Charlie is the more natural talent. Meryl seems like a very hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bit of a better performer than she is. And when she was off count the second week, I'm like, oh, I can only imagine what the Canadians are saying now. You know, they told us, didn't they?
That's right.
Oh,
But they're really rooting for Nene anyway, right? Nene,
of
what do they
course.
call her?
Well, the best is that Tessa and Scott were interviewed about this. And you know, the key to being like a ringer on Dancing with the Stars is you have to say that you don't have a big advantage. You know,
Right.
Charlie tells us every week, you know, they're used to performing, but it's very different. You know, they're used to gliding and not dancing.
Blah, blah, blah. They say the same thing every time a skater's on, yeah.
So, of course, Tessa Virtue's on Entertainment Tonight in Canada, and she's like, well, you know they have a really big advantage. Like...
She's just jealous because her show is over. That's what's going on.
I
Yeah.
love the claws, though. I can't get over it.
That's really funny.
Oh, they're going to be mad for a long time. Oh, it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
though. But let's talk about important things. So, you know, Meryl was, you know, believed to be with Marina's son for a long time, but now apparently she's not. So, what do you think about her new chemistry that she has with her partner?
I don't know if I can take any of that stuff seriously. You know, all of this, it's back to that like reality show formula, even though it is a competitive show, blah, blah, blah. Same thing, because they were trying to stir up rumors about Charlie and his partner, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! I have a girlfriend." Like,
Oh, Tanith is in the front row. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if Erin Andrews, you know, has laryngitis, she's taking over. Like,
excuse me.
I
Yeah.
predict that Tanith will find her way onto the show by the end of the season. Before the packages during the semifinals, Tanith will find a way to dance with Charlie at some point. You know,
She's filming at the Ice Network desk out in the hallway.
yes.
Selling Dick Button's book or something.
And wouldn't Tanith and Ben have been better on this show? But anyway, you know,
They didn't win the gold. That was the problem. So they weren't invited.
That was the problem, but they
Yeah.
would have been so good together. But now it also comes down to the technique and the fan vote. So are you worried that Meryl might lose to a girl that has no legs?
Well, well, here's the thing. Like, I'm intrigued to watch them to see how do you do this.
Yes.
Because I thought, you know, even more than Christy Yamaguchi or these people, they do ballroom dance training and this sort of stuff. So I was like, let's see how this goes. But I don't think they're creating lovable personalities. It's
Charlie's nice, you know.
Yeah, it's the same thing again. where they're just lovely and they dance, but we're not really following their personality, or we're not really rooting for them if we didn't already know they're skating.
What's
Or
funny is I have friends at work who are like, "Isn't that skater you liked that you went to see in Salt Lake?" Of course, they like never watched the Olympics, and now they know her from Dancing with the Stars. And she's
that's
like,
right.
"Why does she talk like she's in a pageant?" You know?
Or had the helium or something. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a real high pitched, energetic.
it's just the fact that when she said that she didn't know what the scores were from the week before when she was on Access Hollywood after she lost to DJ Tanner.
Who has God on her side?
DJ was doing really well until she pulled that card too early.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
oh, this is an early season, and we've already tackled it with the rumba
Well,
or what?
I'm more excited to see who's going to come visit them because Christy Yamaguchi and Gracie were there for Marilyn Charlie week 1, but
Right.
with DJ Tanner, obviously there's Uncle Jesse. Bob Saget is probably going to make an appearance, and then Kirk Cameron. All
That's right. And other religious groups.
Yes. So I'm very excited. But there's been we were so teased about another reality show that I was much more excited for.
I,
There was Kenya Moore going to be on this show, and Scott Disick from The Wonderful World of the Kardashians, and Johnny Weir was going to be on The Celebrity Apprentice. But then, a week into filming, Johnny drops out because of his divorce. No, Jonathan, I know you've been following this. What do you make of the Johnny Weir divorce?
I mean, it is really delivering on every front, this divorce. Really? There were talks of, Birkin bags, maybe, about dolls, about domestic violence, which became he tried to bite him or something. I mean, the whole
throwing of the Russian doll, of course, it's the most Johnny divorce we could have imagined.
Correct.
Really, I don't know if I want them on VH1 together. I mean, Johnny would have gotten married for publicity, we're hearing? Really shocking.
You believe it? Yeah.
Does that mean that the other one thought that he was rich or something? I mean, it's great. I want them to work it out. That's what I think.
Maybe they're lobbying, and now he's going to have some dating reality show.
Oh, I think that he should. It could be just like I Love New York, And really, the thing I think with Johnny is that apparently I read on Radar, the source for news
All
for TMZ in this divorce, is that Johnny and Tara were up for a potential reality show.
I had read that, yeah.
But now, they're thinking otherwise after he pulled out. But, I just think that we haven't seen the last of this divorce, and while
But I'm wondering, do you think the divorce is hitting mainstream media, or are we just hearing about it? It's pretty down.
It's more like on the internet, on the blogs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I don't think
I think he would have had to injure him with the throwing of the Russian doll.
Yeah.
And we would have needed video of the crying over the small dog. But in my mind, it was so good,
It really has created. There needs to be some sort of SNL.
It needs to hit. Johnny needs to be interviewed by Savannah Guthrie and Robin Roberts about this divorce, and we just need to tackle it.
Or Bravo needs to do a reunion show.
Yes.
That's with the two of them and the Russian doll, who will also
hosted by Terry Gannon. Terry Gannon can help them work it out.
It's a win-win for everybody.
It really is. But there's been other news lately. Ottavio Cinquanta wants to have his way with the sport one more time.
Let's divorce him. Let's throw a Russian doll at him.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a Russian pen?
Yeah, yes, okay. It really was. So, what are your take on Ottavio Cinquanta? He wants to get rid of the short program.
Who needs it? Just throw it away.
I mean, he wants to make all of the programs across the disciplines the same time, and he also wants to simplify the scoring system. So, just what do you make of all of this?
Okay, couple things. Be quiet, Ottavio. Go home. You're drunk. No one wants to get rid of the short program. He's talking about logistics so we can have juniors and senior worlds at the same event.
Or, why would we want the Russian ladies to outskate the senior ladies? I don't understand.
I don't know
they
what
already have that problem at nationals where all the 13-year-olds are winning.
Yeah, but for how long? That's a whole nother. Then his issue with the time situation Actually, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know that there's tremendous reasons for the length of each program, but why? What is gained by unifying the time?
He
I
just
don't
needs to
understand.
take a
And
seat.
then simplifying his own silly system.
I
It
would
can be
like it in
simplified.
scientific notation for next season, wouldn't you?
You could simplify it by having 2 marks out of a 6.0, one for technical merit and one for artistic impression. So that's one way to simplify your system. Just think about it. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a way to simplify it, but just to say it so broad, like, oh, and fix the mess I made.
Yeah,
Uh,
when does he want these changes by? I mean, they're meeting, very
People
soon
have
to be.
probably chosen short program music for next season. I mean, they probably have thoughts. It's not something you just do at the last minute. Yeah.
It's a little rough,
Yeah.
these changes.
But now, having said this, all this fury came out of the same Chicago Tribune article, which got its hands on like Otavia's letter or something. So I don't know. It's
But
all at fishy stages, but it's still a
there's
little
been a
alarming.
lot of fishy things going on in skating lately.
Yes, correct,
We
correct.
need to say to our friend Alex Abad Santos at The Wire, who is just not letting that Unicam Adelina Sotnikova thing go.
I've moved on actually because
I
obviously
have
I'm as
to.
invested as they are. I'm over it. Come on, Una.
There's
You're
a petition now. Yuna is saying that this is going to be her last exhibition, and we are just all moving on. But moving on to the World Championships, I initially was not very excited about the Worlds. I have to say, I was not ready for it. The week started, and then it started, and I got into it. I have to say, I was very into these Worlds. I thought that they were a delightful mess. From start to finish, I loved every second of it. So
Mhm.
let's start in the pairs with Alyona Savchenko. Now, Alyona has found a new partner before the Worlds even started, which was just great to me. I was like, yes,
And with her quote, "Oh, I'll win the next Olympics with this one," and I
yes.
was like, "Aren't you going to be like 50 years old at the next Olympics?" I mean, that this stuff has got to wear on your body as a pairs skater. Come on,
Yes.
honey. I was like,
It's
"That's
not
a
like she's one of the Chinese pairs, because this is how I imagine that pair skating goes in China. Is that, it's kind of like when we have the crash dummies, So that coach just figured out the throw by taking like 70 of those girls and chucking them
and
across a
just
football
trying."
field. And he
Yeah,
found like three that could be left standing. And
right.
they survived for like 15 years because they were bionic.
Because they are the exceptions. Yeah.
Aliona has never shown that before. I
Yeah.
mean, she is not, Xue Shen. Who does
Yeah.
she think she is? But
When he has the right idea, he's like, "We've had a great run. I'm
yes.
older now. It does take its toll." And if you're like, "Of course," and she's like, "Oh hell no." She's like, "I'm in it for another 4 years." It's insane to
The
me. And
best part is that
they have
she
to pick a
wants.
country.
Yes. Well,
Would you just pick one?
Germany or France? Well, I would go with DDA, wouldn't you? Well,
Yeah,
she's picked a country before. She was Ukrainian before. She could
yeah.
probably skate for Russia if she wanted to.
But I
I
was like,
mean,
"There's nothing left for you in Germany. You're not German. Your partner's French. What are you doing? This isn't Israel. Get it together. Come on."
and they've been training in Florida, apparently. It's all a lot of fun. I just think Aliona, she's a gem. But the thing is that by the time that she could possibly get it together with this new partner, her body's going to be on its downslope. So she's just crazy. She has
Yeah.
5 world titles. What more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, apparently an Olympic gold. But yeah, it's going to be rough. It would be rough for anyone at
The
that
thing
age
that I
that's
love,
enduring
and I
it.
do enjoy her. I mean, I like anyone who wears a hot pink bodysuit. But the thing that
And does it well. Yeah.
yeah, the thing that I enjoy about her is that she has said all of this about Silkoe, and yet she wants to skate in 3 more shows with him to collect $5, and he says absolutely not. I am done with you.
You know what? I'm with her. I'd be like, "I can't stand you. I'm so ready to get through this." But it's more than five. It's 45,000.
Oh,
And you
okay.
better believe I'd be running on that ice. I'd be like, "Come on, let's go."
I kind of like that he's sticking it to her at the end, though.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
got.
she has it coming. I have to say,
I mean, because they had to really coerce him into getting to Worlds,
yes.
and I'm glad that they did because they did a great job, and
I
they're
thought that they really did, and he did a great job at Worlds, Leona and that double axel. But I thought that it was a really great way for them to go out. I thought, the Russians may have had the gold, they may have been more technically perfect, but at the end of the day, they're the more prolific, pair team, having 5 world titles. I think, when we look back, we will look at them as the preeminent pair of this decade, and that's
and it was nice to see them because even though they have this tiff going on, there was genuine happiness at the end of those programs. It was
yeah.
nice to see them do it well. I was glad they did the throw sow at the end and not the axle. And
Yes.
yeah, it was. I thought it was a nice way for them to end
Yeah.
things.
And what did you think about the other pairs in the event?
They were there too. It was,
It was really all about them. It was all about Sevchenko and
yeah,
Silkowy.
that was the specialness of
Yeah.
it. The Canadians.
And both Canadian pairs were great. I mean,
They
Drew
really
Hamill
did.
and Radford had a spectacular short program. I never cared for the free skate all year, but they really went out and they did their best. And they're already talking about adding new content for next season and more points. And
Okay.
I think we're going to get more of what we love about them.
Yeah.
And Kirsten Moore-Towers and Dylan Moskovich, really.
We did see a bit of a switch this year, mainly
Yeah.
in the long, that they were consistently higher. And so it was nice to see that again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting,
yeah.
next season to
Yeah.
see, are they on the medal rostrum next season? Obviously, Stobova and Klimov, really strong as well. Obviously, with winning the silver medal in the Adams family. But I thought the pairs was really all about the Germans
German
and
moment,
seeing
yeah.
them for the last time. And unfortunately for the Americans, maybe we should just give our spots to other disciplines. Why do we put so much pressure on Jeremy to get 3 spots? We should give him, he could get a pair spot.
Right, yeah.
We could give one to the ladies. We could save money,
I don't understand. Now, this must have been like the longest season ever because instead of the Olympics, we also had the team event in the Olympics, which it really did add another colossal event to a season that already had one. So I don't know if this is just burnout or something, or because some of the, you see that Olympic relief when some of the skaters finish their program. Their shoulders go down. It's such a release emotionally, physically, they're exhausted. And you were seeing that a lot in this Worlds too, except it was like, oh my gosh, can I go home now? I think a lot of people...
Although for the first time at the post-Olympic Worlds, I didn't see too many people that actually looked like they were going to hurt themselves. Like, remember in 2006 when Johnny fell and he stayed down there for a while before he got back up, and there were some really bizarre falls.
Yeah.
So
physical exhaustion. Yeah, this did seem like mental exhaustion. Yes. Okay. I don't know what happened to them, and I don't know if they've formally announced that they're staying together, that they're not staying together.
I already have partners for her picked out, I have to say.
I think she's really talented, and I think she deserves a second shot with someone she can go farther
So
with.
she needs to go with Tim LeDuc is what needs to happen. And
a gorgeous, gorgeous pairing.
Yes, I think he looks like a Boston pair guy.
That stretch he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has a good line. They would be good together. She and Simon have never looked like a pair team. They never look like they belong together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the story of American pairs. We put 2 kids who have no business skating together, and we're going to send them to the Olympics.
But then we say the problem with American pairs is that they don't stay together.
Yes.
But the problem is you're not
put
putting
2 people
that should stay together and then they should stay together. This was sort of a mismatch. I mean, and that's what we learned. Look at our Olympic champions at the last Olympics. They weren't doing it. Jenny and Todd had to switch before they found the right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we should really put Marissa with Tim LeDuc. I think that would be a good pair. They'd have a chance. Katie Denny is potentially looking for a new partner. If not, she will skate in shows with John Coughlin, allegedly. And I think that she is on the market. I think we can find her another partner. She could land some jumps, and everyone could be happy. But yeah, it's just not working for the American pairs right now.
It's not. It's really sad.
And if Ingo's in Florida, we need to be sending a lot
Sent them
of
there.
pairs
Yeah.
there, giving them a lot of money because it just doesn't look like our coaches have that level of knowledge to get us out of the 8th, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th place. So we need to really
When it's clear, he has said time and time again, he's not getting any money in Germany,
know.
right? Because the Federation is like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it needs. It took Marina and Igor to come and let him
I
be
mean,
the.
that's what it
He
took with
just
John
needs
Nix in the
somebody.
past. You know,
Yeah,
they needed someone, and they need someone now who's worked under this system and done it and put people together. And I think that there's, some hope there, but hopefully some people will take advantage of Ingo being in Florida for however long, even if it's temporary or a few months, or go to him for a week. I don't care.
yeah,
Just,
exactly.
But moving on to the men's event, we actually had a bit of a surprise. The American men were not expected to get 3 spots, and they really delivered, especially Jeremy Abbott. So, what did you make of the entire men's event, and what did you make of Team USA at the Worlds?
I was very pleased
Hmm.
with Team USA. So we sort of had the same thing happen. Jeremy did the quad combo in the warm up,
Hmm.
and then wasn't able to do it in the short. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again. And that long was fantastic.
Yeah, probably the best of his career,
I
especially at an
I really
international
think
event.
so. Yeah, and he was fourth in the long. I mean, he was still what, like 29 points away from the podium or something. But so I don't know that was, even with some tweaks, if that was ever in the cards. But it was really solid. And he came under fire because he had said, like, oh, focusing on getting 3 spots, it's not high on my priority
We've
list.
already
And
established that he just shouldn't give interviews, and this is
yeah,
just, yeah.
he needs to go to Merrill and Charlie's school.
Yes.
Or not, because now he's retired. So,
Well, apparently he may think otherwise. He's not sure, but
well, in that quote, it was deceptive because he said, well, I'm not done skating.
yeah.
But I thought that was in reference to
I
shows.
think he'll do shows and do
Yeah.
choreography and probably be very in demand choreographically. I actually would have had him fourth overall here, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have that same track record and
Right.
that plays, and he's not Russian, and it's just,
Exactly.
you don't
Exactly.
get the same benefit of the doubt. But I did think that he was in the second to last group that hurt him as well. But I would have had him probably a place higher overall. I thought the
Yeah.
difference with him in the short program is that he went for the quad, and though he fell, usually when he falls on the quad and it just looks like he's not mentally present, he like wipes out. He
Right.
almost actually had this
Yeah, it
quad.
was really
Like,
close. Yeah.
it was close the whole time. It just looked like a technical error instead of he was wiping out. So I did think that he was just more present throughout these entire championships. He looked way more together than we've seen him in a while. So,
Yeah. Well,
eh,
and I think it helped him being in Japan because he does have that big Japanese following. And how amazing was this crowd, especially coming off the heels of Russia,
yes.
where everyone standing ovation this and huge support that. And even when Kovtun did that like goofy sow attempt and like, I don't know what he did, like clicked his heels together, they started clapping right away to get him going again. And I
It
don't
was a
know.
really supportive crowd, which I think
Yeah.
helped for this event. I think having the post Olympic Worlds in Japan gave it some energy that it doesn't
Yep.
usually
Excitement.
otherwise have.
Yeah.
I thought it was a perfect place to actually hold this event. I have to say, for Max Aaron, we had heard some rumors over the last couple of months that Max wasn't sure if he was continuing after this season or not. That's undecided.
He's skating like he doesn't want to.
I think he's still a little upset of the Olympics, and I think that that's normal for anyone who misses out an Olympic team. I don't know that sending them to Worlds is that much of a consolation prize, because I think it's kind of like, well, why aren't you sending me to the Olympics, or why? I think you should send probably the same team to both events. I think it's weird psychologically. So you're basically saying that you are devastating someone and not sending them to the Olympics, but are then sending them to Worlds, so they have to keep going to the rink and keep training.
Well, and I mean, there's no way to know how I would be in that situation because I haven't been in that situation. Surprise, surprise. But if I had that disappointment at the Olympics, I would have been more annoyed by the world assignment.
Yeah.
I think, because then it meant I wasn't even done.
No.
So now I'm training for all these extra months for the worlds, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it all worked out because there are 3 spots now.
Yes, but I
which
don't
is a
think he
big deal.
performed as well as he could have, and
he was looking rough the whole time.
I think it was just kind of almost, cruel and unusual punishment to actually send him to the Worlds. I know that in their minds, they probably think it's a positive thing, but I think you think about it emotionally for anyone to try to.
And that was early January that
Yeah.
decision was made, and now to have to draw it out, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and to his credit, he did fight for those jumps, but he just didn't have the same demeanor. He really looked over it, and so his body language just looked over it. And
Yeah, I'll be intrigued if he stays in, how they approach things differently next
do you think
season.
he should stay in?
I think at this juncture it's up to him if he wants it or not. That particular style of skating isn't my favorite style of skating. I'm much more excited to see Jason and Joshua duke it out next year at Nationals versus C-Max in the mix. But also, I think giving him Carmen and these sorts of like pieces, they're wrong fits. These are lyrical things, so it becomes even more obvious. He needs to work with his style and not show us what it isn't, I guess, by the programs that they've done. So I don't know. If he stays in, I think he needs to change
Well, I mean,
a
I think
lot of stuff. It's a lot.
I think it doesn't come down to a choreographer. It comes down to daily work, and he would need to be almost a different skater, and I think he'd almost need to be a different personality type. I don't see him becoming that person that warms up with figures every day, and that looks like what he probably needs right now to be doing, moves and figures and learning how to really skate and not look like a hockey player on the ice. And while that's exciting, I think the judges have branded him as someone who is not.
It's exciting when it works.
Yes.
And it hasn't really worked all season. And the thing is, and I think one of the British commentators commented on it, that there's all this hype about his jumping, but his positions aren't hot. The landing things aren't really checked properly. So it's not even like he's got, when we said Gracie was such a good jumper, everything was quite pristine about her jumping.
Yeah.
But his really isn't. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah.
Have you ever watched gymnastics?
Yes.
He kind of reminds me of the Parkettes of Allentown, Pennsylvania. These group of these hardworking girls who learn how to do one difficult tumbling pass, and then they put about 50 in their routine that they've practiced about once and never together, and it's just Chuck City, and that's kind of what Max's skating looks like. It's he could be Kristen Maloney with
Yeah, I mean, because it's his work ethic. I mean, when he was on TSL, he's a bright guy. He's obviously very disciplined.
And I think he's bright enough to know that it's not going to improve in terms of internationally. I mean, I think the chances of it improving are just slim to none, really, at this point. I don't see it happening. I wish him the best, and I think he's very intelligent, that he could be successful at whatever he wants to do. But I think if you look at it internationally, who he's up against, those guys can skate. Hanyu and Machida can jump. They have better jump technique. They have better skating skills. They have better artistry. I don't see him catching up.
And they're still improving.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the difference is I don't know that he's going to get better. Yeah. So it's not one of those cases where it's like more of the same. It will happen. Yeah. No, I think he needs, if he wants to stay in and be serious, he needs to mix up the whole way he's gone about it. But
yeah. What did you think of the top few men at the Worlds?
I thought Machida's short program was awesome.
Yes.
It was just awesome, which is why you shouldn't get rid of the short program. That's reason enough. I thought Javier was charming. Mm-hmm. It's just throwback to me. It's like those Philippe Candeloro years. Like there's that goofy guy. Hope he medals so he does the exhibition because he's a real hoot. And Hanyu, I just keep thinking like I cannot believe he's going to stay in. I mean, he's so young, but
think of all the money he's going to make in Japan if he keeps going.
Yeah,
I'm counting his money for him. I'm like,
all of them.
You. Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Kiko and Mao need to reconsider.
it's impressive. And the pressure they must have been under, and they
Yeah,
stayed pretty cool. And, Hanyu landed that first squad
yeah.
in the long, which hasn't been happening in
Yeah,
kind of a
I
long
couldn't
time.
believe he landed the first quad. I mean, and it was by the skin of his teeth, but
Yeah.
I thought that Hanyu's performance, it was exciting. I prefer how clean Machida is. I think in some ways Hanyu's still a little sloppy. I think, there are
Yeah.
room for improvement for next season, but I think that's going to be an interesting rivalry if they keep going and perfect for skating in Japan, and it definitely keeps the interest alive there. But I have to say my favorite event at the World Championships was ice dance.
It was so close.
First
It's
of
never been
all,
so exciting.
for once, we did not have to discuss Meryl versus Tessa and Meryl versus
Yeah,
Tessa and Charlie
exactly.
versus Scott.
Yeah.
It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Before the event, we hear that Ilyinik and Katsalapov are potentially going to split. Now, Piseyev has now said that he does not want this to happen.
I
And
don't think it should. That made me
no,
really
it should not
sad.
happen.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
They belong together.
They
They
really
are
did.
pretty. They are up and down. They are dramatic. They keep it exciting. You don't know if he's going to stop doing the twizzles and the short dance and they're going to win the free dance. You never know what's going to happen with these two.
Well, let's see if now that he realizes he could have won, how that's all going to shake out.
Yes. So I don't really know what happened, but I have certainly a lot of theories, but about why they were potentially splitting anyway. But Sinitsyn and Zaganshin, he was going to be skating with Sinitsyn if they do split. But Nelly Zaganshin, Sinitsyn's sister, who skates for Germany, only in ice dance, says that she does not believe that they are going to split. So I am certainly not
It
thinking
would
that
be
that's
such a
happening.
waste if they did that.
No, they are so close to winning the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
Stupid.
And I know that their program, the Swan Lake, is a little showier. It's a little obvious, but it still thrills me every time because I am a cheesy ice dance enthusiast, not looking for loftier art in it. And I really respond every time they do that program. And I thought this was one of the best ones they had delivered.
Yeah.
And I just thought, as I did this should be just the beginning. So it would be such a shame for them to sort of lose all this momentum.
Yeah. No, I do think so. But they did win the free dance here. They finished just off the medals. But everyone in the top three was 0.06 apart. So really, it's whatever you think. It should be the final outcome of the World Championships for dance. It was extremely close. We had Capellini and Lenote winning gold, Weaver and Poge winning silver, and then Péchelot and Borzat winning the bronze. So what did you make of this whole event? Because I have to tell you, my favorite skater of the year has to be Natalie Péchelot.
I would have flipped the podium. I would have put the French on top,
Yes.
kept the Canadians, and then put the Italians in bronze.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Now, why would you have done it?
Well, the French, that Le Petit Prince or whatever program.
Look at you whipping that
out. But I think that I finally kind of got the program. Yeah. I remember when I saw it at Cup of China, and I was like, "What is going on? I don't understand. What is?" And this time, I was like, "I get this."
Yes.
And finally, after having seen it a couple times, I wasn't focused on how they constructed the program. I just watched it, and I was like, it was a pretty awesome moment.
It's brilliant.
It was, yeah, and it was so well executed. So they were another one. They were a short dance technicality away from the gold.
And yet, I don't think
they would have.
They would have won. I mean, honestly, it would have been hard. They would have, because if you could take away their mistake, you could take away Ilyinik and Katsalapov's mistake, and I think that they would have maybe still put the Russians ahead. And I think Natalie believes that. But I really
her medal picture. I'm sorry, on the stand where she's like, "That's awesome."
The thing I think about this performance is that it came to life. The top two performances that really come to life for me are Ilyinik and Katsalapov's and Péchelot and Borzat's. They really fully embody the character and they fully engage in the performance and the way that the others don't yet. I think that Weaver and Poge have made so many strides this season, but they're performing a tango and Caitlin still skates within herself, and she is the lead in this dance, and she
Yeah.
just needs to come through stronger, like more like her coach would be performing this program. She never. It's like 98%, and you need it
Right.
to be 150%. A little
Right.
over the top the whole time.
Well, I think that she has her moments and she's
Yes.
clearly coached them in fire eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, and do a big flare here. But right before an occasional element, she almost goes dead.
Yeah.
And she'll be acting and emoting, and then she's like, wait, okay, okay, all right, lift. And
Yeah.
then we've kind of broken out of it. But I agree with you, the Russians and the French had these monumental experiences.
Which is perhaps why they're more inconsistent, because I do believe that to do all of these difficult elements, you do have to kind of disengage emotionally and
Right.
really focus technically. And these are the more inconsistent teams. When you look at Maryland Charlie, I don't think they perform as 150% as Peshala and Borza or Yannick and Katsalapov when you watch them really give everything they have in that performance. I think that they give everything athletically, but not artistically. And I think
emotionally, yeah,
and I think that Weaver and Pogier are getting there. They've made so many strides.
because they had some really beautiful moments. They had
Yes.
cool moves and lifts and things like that. I personally, then when I saw who was it? Oh, Chalk and Bates.
Yes.
When they came out, I was sort of like, yeah, this is. I
It's not on the same level.
It's just not, and I like that Angelica's teams are moving forward.
Yes.
As we sort of look for the next 4 years.
Yes.
It's kind of a nice change.
I think that Madison Chalk will get one national title.
Yeah, okay.
Before it goes on the Jean-Luc train.
Okay.
But I think that Madison will get one. Okay. And then move, I think that there's a level of skating skill that will take over there. But I thought the Italians, Capolini and Linote, were, wonderful and nice and pleasant.
It was cute.
But to me, that performance just doesn't grip me in the same way, and it's ice dance, and I prefer the larger-than-life programs. Whether it's cheeky, whether it's drama or tango, I like it a little bit more over the top. I like a crazy woman like Natalie Peshala, who apparently yelled for 40 minutes and delayed the doping process at the Olympics because she could not stop screaming. And, I would like to give her...
More power to you.
I'll give her my medal from sectionals and put it over...
Earned this, honey. Yeah.
Yes. Natalie, how do you feel about a medal from adult sectional? Anyway, but I think that we could, it was just a fantastic event. I thought looking forward, the Shibutanis were dumped again. And how do you feel about that? And they have now said that they are going to continue.
Yeah, they've confirmed they're staying with Marina. And I think there are other ones that need to shake it up. Give us a reason to look at you again instead of continuing to do sort of the same formula.
She must be convincing them that they're going to be her priority now and that everything is going to be different. But I
feel like it's not, because I don't think their issue was ever the amount of time being focused on them, I think Marina's time has come. It's been a big explosion. She's shown us the best of what they can do with those two teams, and now it's a new day.
It's like the fall of Lady Gaga. It's inevitable. It's going to happen,
and we're going to be ready for something else. Yeah,
you just don't need to exacerbate it, But with a Michael Jackson program or someone puking on you on stage. But I think with the Shibs, they are so talented. I think they seem like bright kids. Mm-hmm. I would either switch coaches or move on to something else. I mean, I think it's hard because it's hard to watch because the international ice dance community has almost been cruel to this team. They made them the scapegoats after 2011 openly, and they were not nice to this team, and they've continually, gotten moved down, and it looks like there are other teams that, if it's not a Russian team this year, if it's not Bobrova, it'll
be some other team.
It'll be, someone else is going to move ahead, and I don't see that really changing unless we get a whole new look from them, and I don't know if we are. And it's sad to me. It almost feels personal. It's
Yeah.
really
But that's why I also feel like going to a new coach, new choreographer, get a whole new look. It gives us a reason to snap out of this shoving you down.
Yeah, because everyone's formed their opinion on them. It's not really going to change much. You know, I think, but I think that they're great dancers, and they need new eyes, new material, new something to keep doing this. If you're going to stay in for 4 years, to stay with Marina is just really.
I think it needs an image overhaul, you know, and it's not going to happen where they are. So,
well, speaking of overhaul, we had Ashley Wagner come back, we had Gracie Gold come back, and we had Polina come back, and got 3 ladies spots for the second year in a row for Team USA.
Yeah.
That has been a long time since that has happened. What did you make of Team USA at the World Championships for the ladies?
It was interesting. It was interesting to see Ashley switch her jumps. She didn't do the triple in the long program, and it seemed to work to her advantage.
Yeah.
Although she kind of botched, or she did botch the third jump in her triple double, but it's clear that you have to go with personality a little bit. In the same way, Max is not being moved by Carmen.
Yeah.
Ashley wasn't being moved by Romeo and Juliet. Mm-hmm. So whether it has to be Samson and Delilah or what, but she's a fire skater. Yes. She needs something so she has the energy instead of that soft lyrical thing. And then, because she hits some pretty landing positions. She has qualities. Her spins aren't as fast as the other girls. Her jumps aren't as high. The triple is not going great in the short. You know what I mean? It's pre-rotated, it's under-rotated, it's two-footed, it's this, it's that, it's the other. But so switch it up. I don't know. Her choice to stay in is very surprising to me. But I guess at this age and at this level, she's going to leave skating for what? And I guess she doesn't have that answer, so she's going to stay in. But she's another one I don't see her staying in and necessarily getting a lot better.
No.
I feel like this is the Ashley product.
But I enjoy Ashley for the entertainment value, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, she's always going to keep it real. Yeah. But I agree with you. I don't really see much changing. Hopefully that flip toe technique will change. But I don't...
Or choice to do the flip toe. Maybe she tries something else, you know. But
I don't see it really...
Yeah.
happening for her the way that they probably want it to. Again, if it's not Pogarelaya, I think it's going to be Rodionova. I think it's going to be Medvedeva. I think it's going to be Proklova. I think there's always going to be someone younger, someone jumping more, someone doing more, and what the sport is currently rewarding. You know, I mean, Gracie Gold beat Ashley in components because Ashley was in the second to last group, which felt wrong to me.
Right.
But I did notice that I thought that Polina Edmonds really stamped herself the future. I feel like Polina is growing into herself. She has really improved so much. You watch her from the fall until now. It looked like she had a growth spurt, and now she's growing into her limbs, and they're becoming quite lovely. And I thought that she had a really nice free skate here. Not just technically, I thought artistically that she really showed potential for the long term. Obviously, we don't know if she's going to get taller. During the Olympics...
I'm sure, you know, she's not that tall, but on the ice, it looks like she's like 8 feet tall and like these like crazy limbs. Yeah.
But she's starting to use them, I thought, to her advantage, and you actually see that there are some lovely qualities emerging.
Well, what was fun about her is she, you know, she has that like cheesy, what do they call it? What do they call her program? I don't know.
The short
some
program?
Sort of merengue. Yeah, the short program. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but she shows a fun, quirky side, and she lights up, and she had fun in this. You know, she had the issue with the combination or whatever, but she shows pizzazz and personality. But then she goes and does the Grieg, and she also has the soft side. So it's kind of neat to see that she has different levels to work with. So I'm really intrigued. I don't know much about her coach or the group sort of surrounding her. But I mean, from nationals through worlds, she has stayed done a good job, finished top 10 in
And
the Olympics
improved.
and at Worlds. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and she's improved throughout.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's interesting watching Gracie too. Gracie really has gained so much experience this year. She's obviously been through a lot. She's been through makeovers and coaching changes and choreography changes and new programs. And watching Gracie, two things. She's a nervous competitor. No, I don't know if she was nervous in the long or if she was tired, but it just
What
Gracie
with
is
those
someone.
axles? I couldn't figure it out.
And that was the issue with her at the beginning of the season. And she's had issues with the axle in the past. It's not great technique, and she went really flat on one of
Yeah.
them. But I think one of the uh, things with Gracie is that I find her to be slightly less closed off than Nancy Kerrigan, artistically. And I don't know if you can make someone an artist who's not. That might not be her. But
Yeah.
something is off to me. It's robotic when you watch it, and we need to cut down on the pageant. I know that we've joked about it,
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, the collar and the bun and the overdone makeup all together is just a lot. She looked way older than she is, and
Well, it's one of
it's
those things. It looked like there are certain moments where it looks like Gracie doing elegant
yeah,
instead of Gracie being elegant. Or you know what I mean? It looked like this is what I do to look refined.
yeah.
It's not organic or something. I mean, I'll be intrigued because this summer will be the first time she's just with Frank, and they are creating the programs from ground zero, right? So because this was the Marina program, it was kind of a quick, short program. I don't know. I'll be intrigued. I think the fall will be very telling for Gracie too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's time for her that she needs to start winning Grand Prix events.
Right.
If it's going to happen for her, it's either going to happen this fall or it's never going to happen
Yeah.
for her, most likely.
Yeah.
For her to make her move internationally.
But I feel like the judges like her.
They do. Her components are going up.
They want her to be.
I mean, that triple Lutz triple toe was enormous. Yuna's not around anymore, and that thing was out of control good. And she even did the flip. And
Yes, so did Paulina. They both had a meeting.
And she has a lot of really great things. So I think if she can take this experience and take performing in Stars on Ice and run with it,
because it's still so new. That's the thing. We first met her at nationals almost last year, and so it's been a quick thing. It's been a new coach. It's been pretty gradual. So I think that now being settled going into the next season, I think it'll become pretty clear in the fall.
Yeah, I think we just need to really de-pageant her, of course, this summer on Stars on Ice.
Process.
She will be performing to Let It Go, apparently.
Well, someone had to.
When I was first told that she was going to skate to it, I was told, okay, well, guess what Gracie's going to skate to? Let it go, Dave. Just let it sit in your head for a while. Just let it sit.
Well, because that blue outfit is even her long program outfit is the frozen dress.
Of course it is. I bet Gracie loves the film.
Yeah, exactly. Although I'd be lying if I said I didn't, but that's all right. Yikes.
Moving on. What did you make of the top ladies here? We had our Mao Asada closing out her career with two of the best performances that she has ever done. Incredible, I thought.
That short program, Triple Axel, I think was one of her finest.
Yes.
At this, and it was just so nice, and I wanted this for her. Although she still, for me, had the Olympic moment in her long program, it was not her event. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to see her be able to go out in Japan with this success, I was really happy for her.
Really up to the best of her ability. I mean,
yeah.
The judges did what they did with the calling of her jumps, but I thought that she skated freely. The program came to life. Both of them did for me, and I thought it was a fantastic moment. I have to say, I was surprised that my girl Carolina Costner wound up on the podium after that. Now, I am not complaining.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she got some help. So I don't know if
Well,
it's
excuse
karma
me.
because she had to put up with
But did
some
you
weird.
see the girl she beat? I mean, artistically, the marks that girl got. I mean, can you really say she got that girl has nothing going to substance to her skating? I mean,
Yeah.
she makes Gracie look like, one of the Kwan sisters. I mean, I don't understand what is happening here. Um,
Yeah, I mean the the mark that really made me giggle was she got some nines, I think, for like transitions.
my
And
Carolina.
uh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
was like, you're helping her out there, but because she really imploded, I
she
couldn't figure it
did.
out. I would have thought it would have been again like I would ever know what it's like to have to compete in the worlds after the Olympics, but I would think it would have been a nice release. It would have been enjoyable, but I don't know
But
what
she
happened.
actually went for the triple flip, triple toe, which she didn't go for at the Olympics, and she went for here, and we saw what happened. So
Yeah,
I think she made the right decision in Sochi.
yeah. In retrospect, yeah.
Not to go for it in the long program. She had a magical short here, on par with Mao's. Some people thought that she deserved to win. So I thought it was really an interesting result. I didn't expect a bronze medal performance like that, but I'm not complaining. But Yulia Levnitskaya finishing in second here. Do you see her being the forefront of skating next season?
It depends how fast she grows.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens over the summer. I mean, she could come back and she'll be like a foot taller and not know how to land, a single axle, or she'll be basically the same.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just don't know. She's one of those. I'm just gonna have to sit back and wait and
Yeah.
see what happens.
But
But I do prefer her over our mermaid friend. That seashell right on the breast gets me every time, and not in a good way. So, if Yulia's our choice, I'd like to see more of Yulia coming out of Russia and less seashell on the breast.
I'm horrified by that performance.
Yeah.
And I also, Akiko, I thought did a really great short program. Her free skate was not as successful as the short, but it was a great event overall.
I'll
So
miss her. I liked
I
Akiko.
will miss her too. I think that this was a really
Because it was a
interesting world show.
farewell when they did those exhibitions,
Mm-hmm.
which I am just not a fan of exhibition skating. It is just the worst. I'm sure some people like it, and the people are like, why isn't Stars on Ice still around? It's because I don't want to see on ice. I'd rather go see a competition. With Mao doing like a shoot the duck and being like, or whatever she was doing, I was like, stop it. Turn on the light. Let's do something for real. But surely there was a point to that. Oh, the exhibitions were like a final farewell for so many people. It will be interesting next year, mainly to see who survived the summer.
Yeah.
I think.
So Mao needs to come back. We can't have this.
Just for one event,
we cannot have the mermaid winning. I mean, come on.
We'll give her Celebrity Apprentice, Mao Asada, if she can come in.
Yeah, she can take Johnny's spot.
That's right.
But as always, we want to remind you to get in touch with your inner Russian doll over the summer. Throw it across the room.
And look sexy.
While holding your medal like Natalie Péchalot. Bye, guys.